There we go. Sorry, guys. Welcome to today's webinar. Thank you so much for being here. I'm excited to dive in and deliver a lot of value and a lot of impact to you today. You made a smart decision to be here because anybody can buy an online business with little to no money out of your own pocket. There are so many different ways to do that. And so this webinar in the next 45, 60 minutes is going to be eye-opening for you, especially if you've had limited mindsets in regards to you needing money, for example, to buy a business, or you need business experience to buy a business. We're going to demystify a lot of those prior mindsets today. So thank you so much for being here. My name is Josh Marsden. I am the owner of ARM5 Formula, which is a two-time Inc. 5000 company. I'm also a international best-selling author, and I'm going to be diving into this here in a few minutes, but I typically give maybe 5 minutes at the most before I really dive into my webinars, because I've seen time and time again that people show up late, and I don't want them to miss the entire piece of content today. So before we dive in, if you're here right now, let me know here in the chat which state or even country that you're joining from. So let me know here in the chat which state or which country that you're joining me from. And I'll open up the chat. All right. All right. Let me know in the comments. And this is going to be good practice for when we do Q&A as well, because at the end of this, I'm going to spend as much time as needed. I literally have 90 minutes blocked to serve you today. And if you have any questions about buying a business or growing a business or AI in business, I can help you out with that. So this is good practice for later in the webinar today. So let me know in the comments which state or which country that you're joining me from. So just go ahead and open up the comments, let me know, and we'll go from there. All right, Dallas, Texas, awesome. Dallas is represented. That's great. I'm a big Cowboys fan. Well, I was when I was growing up. I mean, the 90s, Dallas was the team. And I grew up in Texas, and then I moved to Arizona in the early 90s. But I followed Dallas. I mean, nobody really followed the Cardinals in the 90s, really, unless it was just that small Jake Plummer era. Jake the Snake from ASU, Arizona State. But yeah, the Cowboys were incredible in the 90s. So that's awesome. Nick, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. All right, where are you from? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what state or what country that you're joining me from. Or if you'd rather just tell me like why you're interested in being here today, what your goal is that drew you here today. Let me know in the comments that, and this way I could serve you during today's webinar. Are you guys sleeping? Hopefully you guys aren't sleeping today, because this is going to be a super impactful webinar, but only if you're alert and you're paying attention. So I'll say it one more time. Let me know in the comments what state or what country that you're joining me from, or let me know what your goal is and how this webinar can help you achieve your goal. So let me know your why. Why do you want to buy a business? Why is that important to you? Why did you come to this webinar? Let me know in the comments. Thank you, Stacy, New Mexico, amazing. Thank you for waking up. I appreciate it, guys. John, Los Angeles, amazing. City of Angels. Brad, Indiana. I've got some family in Indiana. Can't beat Midwest values. So thank you, Brad, for being here. Appreciate you. Elaine from California. John from California. Here we go. Now we're starting to get into it. I love it. All right. Awesome. We've got a lot of California people here. What does that tell you about California people? Well, it tells you that California people are driven, and that's awesome. But everybody here, you guys are all driven because you're here. Stacy, thank you for sharing to broaden your knowledge. Amazing. So you're definitely going to have your eyes opened, during the webinar today, and you're definitely going to learn a lot. Feel free to ask lots of questions, and we'll address all questions right at the end of the content today. All right, guys, we are at 12:06, so I am going to start. And if people are late, people are late. That's their fault. So let's go ahead. Let's dive in. All right, guys, let me know when you could see my screen. I'm going to share it right now. All right. Can you guys see my screen? Let me know if you could see my screen. Give me just a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Okay, Nick, yes, awesome. John, thank you for sharing. Was always fascinated in buying a business. Yeah, look, I mean, buying a business and the skill and learning how to do that, in my opinion, is the most valuable skill or one of the most valuable skills anybody can attain because wealth is built through owning businesses and selling businesses. Like that's the biggest wealth mover that anybody can do, and that's a fact throughout history, really, when you think about it. But right now, it's an incredible time to do that because, especially with online businesses, in my opinion, and that's why you guys are here. Online is more scalable. You can get favorable deals. You don't have to put a whole lot of money down, if any, if you know what you're doing. Um, there's just so many advantages there. And then with all that's happening right now with AI evolving the workplace, with robots soon after that. In my opinion, everybody that cares about their future, whether it's for them, whether it's for their family, their legacies, whatever the case may be, in my opinion, people need to fortify. They need to create their moat. They need to protect themselves and create income streams and make big moves to generate massive amounts of wealth in short periods of time, because at some point in the next few years, you could have limited opportunities possibly. You could have the government giving you a basic income, and that's it. And anything else above that you might want or need will have to come from you. So in my opinion, everybody should buy a business and have a business to generate the cash flow, to have that additional income, to also have an asset that can be sold in the next few years to build real wealth, can move the needle for you, can also fortify, yourself from current trends that are happening right now throughout our world today with what I mentioned. So you guys are all in the right place. But before I dive in, I just want to say this: be focused, okay? Be attentive. Just be completely focused on this. Put aside your phone. Ignore it. Unless you have emergencies, you're like, trying to, be alert on, maybe you have your wife, for example, about to give birth or something, that's obviously a very important thing. But otherwise, try to be fully focused, fully present. That's the challenge we have today in 2026 with technology today, is being focused, being present. So I ask you to do that, because if you do that, then you're going to get a lot out of today's webinar. All right, guys, well, let's dive in. So how to buy a cash flowing online business in the next few months without starting from scratch or risking your life savings. So welcome. Now, as I mentioned, shut down any distractions, turn off your phone notifications, close those extra browser tabs, give this your full attention for the next 90 minutes. I'm doing the same too. Like, I've got 3 monitors here, and the only thing that I can see is literally this monitor. These 2 monitors don't have anything, because I want to be focused on delivering value to you. And if you do the same back, you're going to get a lot of value as well. Well, you'll be shown today. So how to buy a cash flowing online business, even with no experience, limited capital, and no deal pipeline. From 0 deals to owning a cash flowing online business in 4 months or less. This could literally set you on a path to owning an online cash flowing, established, successful, already proven, past the challenges business in 4 months or less. With no experience needed, there is creative financing available, and with a proven evaluation framework. So this way you can mitigate the risk. Okay. And this is as you can see here, this is a real set of dashboards from our businesses. Like, we're doing nearly 10 million a year right now from our portfolio of businesses ourselves, us, me, and my team, my company. And we've got clients also owning businesses that are doing millions of dollars also per year as well. So you could be one of these that owns a business that's doing similar numbers to what you see here on screen with some of these examples here. So the proof is real. These are real screenshots. This is real revenue, real deals, and real results. So I want you to really imagine here what could happen to your portfolio if you had the exact same systems that I use, but simplified and structured so anyone can follow it. So stay until the end. I've got something very special that's going to make this even easier for you. Okay. All right. So let's dive in. So who am I? I gave you just a brief introduction, and I won't spend a whole lot of time on myself. But I've had 19 online businesses that I purchased since 2022. These are all e-commerce online businesses. We're talking like Shopify, Amazon, direct-to-consumer brands. I've purchased all those types of companies since 2022. And since then, I've also done over 30 million in sales. This is not revenue for clients. This isn't managed ad spend. This is literally sales in my businesses. I've also been fairly successful at raising capital. I've raised 8.2 million since 2022 to acquire and also scale online business assets. This is a big reason why we've been able to become a 2-time Inc. 5000 company over the last 2 years. But here's what matters most. It's not just about my results. It's about whether this system works for other people too. And multiple students have closed deals. We're talking regular people who followed the ARM5 process and bought their first online business. So this isn't about me being special. It's about the system being special. And today, I'm going to hand you that system. Look, I don't come from money. I was a military brat first 11 years of my life. Afterwards, my family struggled a little bit after my dad got out of the military. We didn't have a whole lot of money, growing up at all. I literally have told my kids, my teenager, my other kid's only 3, that I literally only had steak. I had steak, I think, for the first time when I was literally like a teenager, for example. Okay. So I don't come from money. I'm not someone special. We're all special in our own ways, but I didn't have these resources, so anybody can follow in my footsteps. You don't need a lot of money. You don't need a lot of connections. You just need a system. You need a process. You need a blueprint. And that's what this is all about. Okay. So I like this quote, and that's why I'm going to use it. It proves that this isn't about me being special. It's about the system being special. That's why I just said what I said. Okay. So here are some real student results. Now I'm going to have to make sure you guys can hear this. And sometimes on these webinars, I've shared these testimonials. People have said that the audio is not coming in. So I want to make sure that you guys can hear this. So let me just configure something really quick and just make sure you guys can hear these loud and clear. Okay. Okay, here is the first one.
Come on, guys. So I want to share with you another case study that we just had in the acquisition method. Let me tell you about Jason before I show you a video from him. So Jason, he joined the acquisition method, the done for you tier, because he wanted to get out of his career in auto sales. He had been in auto sales for decades. He had voiced that it caused strains on his relationship with his ex, which led to a divorce, unfortunately. And it also led to strains in his relationships with his daughters. And he wanted to be closer to his daughters. He wanted to basically buy back his time. And he knew that if he stayed in his auto sales career, that he would be stuck. He would be at the whims of an employer, and he would have to continue to work 6, maybe even 7 days a week. He was making great money, but money's not everything. Time is everything. And connecting with the people that you love and valuing those relationships, that's key, because that's what you remember at the end of your life, in my opinion. So here, watch this video from Jason, because I would love to see you go through a similar transformation to break out of the rat race and to see success from buying an online business with our help. So watch this video from Jason.
Hi, I'm Jason Decker, and I am the owner of This Silly Girl's Kitchen, where I got the help from Team ARM5, and I am incredibly grateful I did. I was your typical rat race guy working in automotive for 26 years, a couple days off a month, not spending time with family. Every story you can dream up was pretty much the life I was living. And I just decided there had to be another way. So with the team at ARM5's help, I was able to buy my first business. And it literally took 4 months for when I started till me finalizing the documents on my asset purchase order. And I'll tell you this, I got a Harvard education on what it takes to buy a business. I got a Harvard education on the legalese and it's a lot of work. So if you don't plan to do work and you think that's just a layup, well, that's not it. But the good part is you have the freedom over your time and your success. And that's what this system helped provide me with. I did the work, and am doing the work and will continue to do the work because I want the company to have massive success. But at the end of the day, I really have to thank the guys from Arm 5 because they helped me out tremendously. They held my hand along the way, which is exactly what I needed. And I'm grateful I made the decision I did to join Arm 5. So thanks, Josh, and especially thanks to Jeff because he was absolutely outstanding, holding my hand through this, teaching me as much as he did. He was not only has become a friend, he's become a mentor, and I am incredibly blessed to have both Josh and Jeff in my life. Thanks.
All right, awesome. Okay, so that was Jason for you. And look, Jason was making some really good money. He was making about $1 million a year in auto sales management, but it didn't matter. He had sacrificed so much. His relationships with his daughters, his relationship with his ex-wife, that he was past the point of being done. And luckily, he found this, like you are today. And now, he's left his job. He's completely changed his life. He's centered it around the things he cares about the most, which is putting time into his relationships first and also making money with his business as well. And sky's the limit now because he now is in charge of his future instead of being at the whims of an employer. Okay. So that's what could happen, to possibly some of you today, especially if you are still stuck in the rat race, as they call it. Okay, well, let's dive back in, guys. And I did change my background. Someone told me that my background was reversed. Let me know if it's like aligned now. For some reason, this webinar software, does that. And even though on my end, it looked like it was straight, but I just changed it. So let me know if it's now cleaned up and aligned. So this way I can make sure it's working correctly. So, all right, guys, so let's dive in. Okay, so here's the typical ROI breakdown. So this is literally like a conservative example. You can get a better result here, but this is like a conservative average example for a first-time acquirer of a business using our ARM5 formula acquisition method. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through that. So let's just say you've got a business that's about 150,000. Okay, that's like I said, on average, and this is a brand doing 50,000 a month in revenue and about 15,000 per month in profit. Okay, so we're talking about 180,000 per year in profit. Okay, this is going to take between 0 and 30,000 down, and this could be fully financed through one of our lending partners, or you could put cash down if you have the resources. Maybe you have cash you don't want to sit on because if you sit on it, it's not working for you, and you need to put it into something. This could be that, and then the rest can be on seller financing or an earnout. So this way it's coming out of the cash flow projected of the business without taking away all the cash flow projected in the business. This way you still have money coming in for you as the owner. It still has money to grow, and it's also able to pay its own way along the way due to the terms of the deal. Okay. So then the monthly profit after acquisition, is literally, when it comes to this configuration, about 10 to 15,000. That's immediate cash flow from day one of ownership. So we're not talking about like 6 months later, you making money from this. We're talking month one, you're making money from this. That's the way we structure our deals with our clients. And that's also the deals that we do. We make sure that it's a winner on day 0 before it even gets to day 1. And that's what we do for you in the acquisition method. Okay. And so you end up with a business doing about 180,000 in annual profit, which is literally more than most jobs. I mean, unless you're a lawyer or a doctor, I mean, that's a lot of money. That's a good amount of money that you could be stepping into when you buy a business. This is the average first-time acquirer, okay? And then after working with us over the next 12, maybe 24 months max, and we help you scale it through our advisory, then the business is now doing 30,000 a month in profit. So we've doubled it, right? And we've also put in characteristics into the business that we know are valuable because we're a buyer that get it a better multiple. And so now it's worth 1.26 million. Now you have a $1.26 million asset you own, and we can help you sell. That's the typical ROI breakdown. Now, if that sounds good to you, then you let me know in the comments. You give me like a raise the roof or a heart or whatever emoji that you choose. But if that sounds good to you, let me know in the comments. Okay. And right now we're in the middle of like a massive opportunity here. There's over 1 million boomer owned businesses expected to sell by 2035. And 48% of boomer owners plan to exit within 3 years. And there's 10 trillion in private business assets coming to market. This is called the silver tsunami if you haven't heard about it, but it's literally happening right now. Feel free to research it, but it's happening right now. There's plenty of businesses for sale. There's thousands, literally thousands of businesses for sale. So here's a snapshot of my portfolio. So as I mentioned before, we purchased 19 e-commerce brands. These are direct-to-consumer brands. These are, we've had a few Amazon brands. And direct-to-consumer is basically doing business on its own website. Whether we're using Shopify or WooCommerce, most of our businesses are on Shopify. And these are all acquired using the exact same 5-step system I'm about to share with you today. And each business was acquired with creative financing. I'm a stickler for this too. Like, I'm hard-nosed when it comes to buying businesses, whether it's me doing it directly or working with my staff and they're doing it for us. I make sure that we're getting the best deals possible. Like the last deal we did was buying a business doing 5.3 million a year, and we only put down 212,000 to buy that business. And this is a profitable, successful global business, just to give you an example. Okay. So most of our businesses required little to no money out of pocket, and all are managed with lean teams and proven systems. And these aren't outliers. These are normal people who followed the system and got results, as you heard from Jason. And every single one started exactly where you are right now. Now, who is this for? So this is for, we think it's for these types of people. And typically these are the clients that we're working with. Professionals and career changers. So you want to own a cash flowing online business without years of trial and error, and you're ready for a new path. And also investors seeking better returns. You're tired of 7% stock market returns and want the 30 to 50% returns possible in online businesses. And you don't want to spend 2 to 3 years building something from scratch. That's not fun. There's a lot of challenges, a lot of stress when you do that. You want to buy something that already works. And also coachable action takers. You have capital to deploy or are willing to explore creative financing, and you're ready to follow a proven process. Okay. So this is not for everyone. It's for those people. So we're not looking for get rich quick seekers. If you're looking for overnight money with zero effort, this isn't it. Buying a business is real work. You're not willing to do the due diligence. If you're not willing to invest time in learning and evaluating deals, this won't help you. And as I said at the beginning of this, buying a business is one of the most valuable skills that you can attain when it comes to building cash flow and building wealth. So if you're not willing to invest in yourself, then this won't help you. You want passive income with zero involvement. Now, this is mostly passive, but there definitely is some active involvement as an owner. I don't want to mislead anybody. So if you just want to flip businesses with zero involvement or aren't willing to follow a systematic process, this isn't for you. Okay. Okay. So here's your commitment. These are 3 things that I need from you before we go any further. 1, keep an open mind. Some of this might seem too good to be true. Creative financing, buying with little money down. Trust the process. Okay. Trust the process, guys, because I wouldn't tell you something that wasn't ethical. Okay. I'm telling you directly that anybody can buy a business with little to no money down. So trust the process until you see the math. Number 2, be ready to take action. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. These are your goals. If you care about your goals, you're going to take action towards them, right? The difference between success and failure is speed of implementation. It's taking action, okay? It's also working at it. It's putting the time in, putting the energy in. Number 3, be open to getting help. If what I show you makes sense, be open to investing in yourself. I'll share how you can work with me directly, okay? So if you agree with those, give me a yes in the comments. Give me a yes in the comments if you agree with those, and we'll continue here, okay? All right, guys, let's get real. You might be thinking, Josh, you've bought 19 businesses and have done 30 million plus in sales since 2022. You must be some kind of genius. Well, I'm not, as I mentioned before. I already told you, I didn't come from money. I didn't have connections in the business world. I grew up thinking, get your education, you go get a great job, and you work your way up the career chain. Well, so that was, the mindset I was under over 13 now years ago. I've been in business now since 2013, so it's been a while. But I started with nothing like many of you, but with a willingness to learn and to take action. And my first business purchase, it wasn't glamorous. I made mistakes. I overpaid. I didn't know what due diligence really meant, but I learned, and that experience became the foundation for everything that came after. So I made the mistakes so you don't have to make the mistakes when it comes to business purchases. Okay, 2022, a lot of lessons. Over the last week, I was putting together a pretty complex report for our securities lawyer, for example, and I'm looking at all my lessons as I'm looking through and I'm putting together these reports until midnight, and I've learned all the lessons so you don't have to. Okay, and that led to finding the right process, because after we found the right process and we optimized our due diligence process, our offer process, you name it, everything changed. I developed a systematic approach to evaluating, financing, and transitioning into online businesses. And that first painful experience turned into a repeatable system. And then I did it again and again and again. And as we have now a 2-time Inc. 5,000 company and over 30 million in sales since 2022. So I didn't have any advantages you don't have. In fact, you have a massive advantage I didn't have when I started. You have someone who's already made the mistakes and built the system for you. So I love this quote, and I use it on these webinars here. Success in business acquisition is not about being the smartest person in the room. It's about having the right system and taking action fast. Okay, let's talk about the big picture here. Let's start with the full map. I want you to see the big picture before we zoom into each piece. So what ARM5 actually stands for. So ARM is the marketing engine that makes these businesses valuable. And then the 5 stands for the 5 profit amplifier, which are the levers you pull post-acquisition to multiply growth in a business. Okay. So A stands for authority. You're buying a business that already has trust and credibility. It's already proven. It's already successful. R, reciprocity. You're buying an audience in that business that already wants to buy. You just have to keep selling them. M, monetization. The revenue engine is already running. Okay. 5, profit amplifiers. We're talking about retention, keeping customers. We're talking about conversion, converting prospects into customers. We're talking about pricing. We're talking about efficiency, making sure you're getting profit back for every dollar you spend on marketing and advertising. And we're talking about traffic as well. Okay. So the ARM5 acquisition method comes down to this, comes down to evaluate, find deals worth buying using proven criteria, comes down to finance, structure creative deals with little to no money down. Number 3, transition, take ownership without disrupting the business. Number 4, optimize, apply the 5 profit amplifiers to grow value. And number 5, scale, build a portfolio of cash flowing assets. Okay, so this is a bit of a counterintuitive approach. Like most people, they think that you need years of experience before you buy a business, millions in capital before you buy a business, an SBA loan even before you buy a business, and a huge network before you buy a business. And that's not the case. The truth is you need a proven system, the right guidance, and the will to take action. Okay, so what makes this different? Most programs teach theory. I give you a system. So other approaches hand you a book about mergers and acquisitions. Say, figure it out yourself. Theory-based, generic advice. And you're on your own. Whereas the ARM5 system, we put you in the passenger seat with us. We turn on the GPS and we say, follow my lead, and we'll have you closing deals in months. Okay. So I'm not teaching from theory. You already know this. I've bought 19 online businesses and I've done over 30 million plus in portfolio sales since 2022. You're learning from someone who does this every single day. You'll see real deals and real numbers. I'm not just going to tell you what to do. I'm going to show you real deal structures, real profit and loss statements, and real evaluation frameworks from my actual portfolio. And creative financing, it literally changes everything. The parts that used to require hundreds of thousands in cash, now possible with seller financing, earnouts, and creative deal structures. And this is also designed for first-time buyers. We have a passion for helping people that have not bought businesses before because it can literally change their life. So this isn't for people who already own a portfolio. Although if you are a business owner, this will definitely help you because you can scale your business much faster by buying other complementary businesses. It's one of the fastest ways to grow a business is by buying others. I mean, look at what Elon Musk just did with Cursor, with SpaceX, and XAI, the company behind that. He bought Cursor, which, is just one example. You can look at all sorts of different examples, Apple, Google, you name it. They all target acquisitions because they also know that's a great way to grow your business. But it doesn't matter what level of business you're at. Buying another business, if you do it right, it's a great way to scale and grow your business if you are already a business owner. But if you're not, great, you're in the right place. Okay. So why now? As I mentioned before, we're in the middle of the greatest wealth transfer in history. Baby boomers own millions of businesses, and as they retire, they need to sell. This is creating the largest wave of business transfers that we have ever seen. We're talking about 6.8 trillion is the global e-commerce market right now. So e-commerce, online business is massive right now, and it's also a growing market. The next 5 years project years of growth every single year. And it's also a growing market with thousands of businesses changing hands every year. That's why there's thousands of these types of businesses right now for sale that I can help you buy. Okay, so we're talking about literally 70,000 plus online businesses listed for sale. And that's at any given time. And that's not just the public market. These are private deals. And these deals are multiplying over time as well. So before you had the traditional path, you start from scratch. It takes 2 to 3 years to start having success. There's a 90% failure rate for startups. You have to spend 50,000, 200,000, maybe even more to build a business. There's no revenue for months. But now, with the ARM5 method, you could buy an existing business, which we say, and we put this in every single agreement with every client, takes 4 months or less. There's proven revenue from day one. So you're stepping into cash flow, you're stepping into profit. Creative financing, it doesn't take much money, if any, to buy a business, if that's what you want, okay? And you can cash flow that business immediately because we make sure that every deal that we do with our clients allows them to step into cash flow on day one, as I've mentioned, okay? So the window is open right now. The opportunity exists. Seller financing is common. The market is still fragmented, but institutional money is starting to wake up to online business assets. But you can't do it alone. Without the right process, the right evaluation framework, the right deal structures, the right transition path, you'll end up buying a lemon or losing your deposit. You definitely want to work alongside someone or some company, when you're doing this, okay? And this is a proven process with expert support. 19 acquisitions since 2022 of experience compressed into a system that anyone can follow. And that's what makes right now the best time in history to buy your first online business. And today I'm sharing my 3 biggest secrets to buying cash flowing online businesses. I'm going to walk you through each one step by step. Let's start with the first. And here's a quote. I didn't invent business buying. I just systematized it. So anyone, regardless of experience or capital, can do it safely and profitably. Okay, here's the first one. So number 1, the evaluation methodology. So secret number 1 is you don't need to find the deal. You need to know which deals are worth buying. Okay, it's not about finding the needle in a haystack. It's about knowing which deals are worth buying. And that just comes down to doing really good due diligence and following a very specific process, which I can help you with. And see, most people are like stuck in which deal mode. Like I said, that needle in a haystack, they're afraid of taking a risk because they don't have a system that de-risks them and mitigates it as much as you can. You can't eliminate it, but you can de-risk and you can mitigate and you could hedge. You could hedge against risk. And most people, when they're just thinking about buying a business, they don't have a process or a system, they get stuck in this which deal mode, trying to find the perfect business. And there is no such thing, okay? And they spend weeks scrolling marketplaces, looking at hundreds of listings and falling in love with ideas instead of numbers. And they just never take action. There's been a few people I've talked to that have considered, for example, coming into the program, getting our help, and they could be well on their way to buying a business, having a cash flow business, having additional cash flow, and having an opportunity to build wealth in the next few years by just saying yes. But they've said maybe for 2+ years because they're stuck in this, I need to find the perfect business, or I don't want to take any risk at all. And it's like, well, okay, well then continue to be in the situation you're in and, having the same goals and not actually achieving them. I mean, that's just the way it is. And they either buy the wrong business or they never buy at all, as I mentioned. Okay. So what people think that I need to find the perfect deal. I need to look at hundreds of listings. I need months of research. I need years of mergers and acquisitions experience. And the truth is, you need a proven evaluation framework. The right system filters in minutes, and due diligence follows a checklist, and the math tells you everything. Okay. The ARM5 evaluation framework, let me cover this. So step one is check the seller discretionary earnings. Is the profit real? Okay. SDE is almost another form for profit in a business. Very little differences. Basically, it's the net profit of a business, and then what else can you add to the profit if you were to sell the business? And usually it comes down to like the owner's income being added in, and maybe some other things like expenses that the owner is incurring out of the business, for example. And that ends up being the final net profit, which is all otherwise known as seller discretionary earnings. Okay. And then step two, assess stability. Is the revenue consistent or is it volatile? Like when you look at the prior 12 months, are you seeing growth? Are you seeing at least steadiness? Because if you're seeing this, then that's a risky business. It could still be a good deal, but more than likely, you want to shy away from that because you want to buy a stable business or a growing business. Okay. Step three, evaluate sustainability. Will this business exist in 2 years? Like years ago, we made a mistake of buying a company that was selling products that used ultraviolet light to eliminate germs. Now, obviously in 2020, 2021, it was a business that definitely had potential, but it had short-term potential. And we bought it late 2022. Luckily, we didn't spend any money out of our own pockets when we bought it on day one. We did have to make payments on out of the business afterwards. But that's obviously not a business that will exist in 2 years, right? And now we would never do that, and you shouldn't do it either. And then number four, test scalability. Can you grow it with the 5 profit amplifiers? Okay, so SDE is a number that matters most, as I mentioned, because this tells you the true profit after all owner benefits. If the owner works 80 hours a week and funds ads on personal credit cards, that's not a business, it's a job. Okay, here's a quote from another of our clients, Dirk Luttrell. I joined the ARM5 Formula program with zero money and learned how to evaluate e-commerce businesses. I've now acquired my first business doing over 1.2 million per year. Okay. So going back to all the lessons I just gave you, see how simple that is? There's really no fancy degree required. You just follow the framework, check the numbers and the math. Tells you whether to move forward or to walk away. And 3 out of 4 deals I passed on using this exact framework. Knowing what to say no to is just as important as knowing what to buy. And this framework does both. It pushes away the businesses you don't want to buy and pulls in the businesses that are good businesses with minimal risk for you to buy. Okay. So without a system, emotional decisions based on gut feel, overpaying because you don't know the real value, missing hidden liabilities until it's too late, or months of wasted time on dead-end deals. With the ARM5 framework, you have data-driven scoring in under 30 minutes. You know the exact fair market value before you offer. Red flags surface automatically in due diligence, and you only spend time on deals that pass the filter. Okay. All right, let's dive into number 2, creative financing. So this is secret number 2. Secret number 2 here is you can buy an online business with little to no money down. Now, most people think you need hundreds of thousands in cash. That's what I thought. Like 2021 and before that, I thought that you needed money, like a decent amount of money to buy a business. I learned by diving in that you really don't. And there's ways to get a deal done with little to no money out of your own pocket. Okay. And they assume business buying is only for the wealthy. I thought that at one point for people with millions in the bank, for Wall Street types. And that's the biggest myth in this industry. So people think that I need 500,000 or more in cash, or I need perfect credit and an SBA loan, which I would never recommend that anybody takes out an SBA loan unless they're an experienced entrepreneur, business owner, acquirer of businesses. And I can explain that if you'd like to, learn more about that. Banks are the only option. I can't afford to buy a business. Okay. That's what most people think. But the truth is, creative financing changes everything. Seller financing aligns incentives. Many deals need little to no money down, and the business pays for itself. And this is why I choose seller financing and other creative forms of financing over SBA loans. For one, speed. You close in weeks, not months of bank bureaucracy. Okay. SBA loans, they take 3 months at minimum. Okay. And when it comes to closing on a business, it's like closing on a home in a market that's an in-demand market. You have to move quick. Here in Phoenix, you have to move quick to buy a good home. And that's the way businesses are too. So SBA loans, they don't move quick. You shouldn't use them unless it's a much, much bigger business, like I said, or you're a very seasoned business owner and business acquirer. Flexibility, custom terms that work for both parties. By shying away from SBA loans, you're using other forms to be able to buy a business, and there's more flexibility in those terms. Alignment, the seller stays invested in your success. They get paid as you succeed. This is probably the most important tip here, okay? Because you want to take a shared risk deal every single time, okay? You want the seller to be invested in your success, and that's why you use creative financing such as seller financing over SBA loans that give them the full boat up front or close to it up front, okay? And then accessibility, no massive down payments, no personal collateral requirements. With an SBA loan, you have to put a personal guarantee on it, and you should not, and I never recommend that you put a personal guarantee on any business deal that you do, okay? So this avoids that, all right? Okay, how seller financing works. So the seller acts as the bank. You make installment payments over time instead of paying upfront. The seller stays aligned with your success. It's a win-win that most beginners never negotiate. Okay, and here's a quote from Jason, who we heard from earlier. I spent 26 years working in automotive, stuck in the rat race and barely seeing my family. With the help of the ARM5 team, I was able to buy my first business in about 4 months. Okay. So do you see like how accessible that is? No $1 million bank account required, no lengthy SBA loan process, just a smart deal structure that works for everyone involved. Okay, give me a thumbs up, give me a raise the roof, whatever your favorite emoji is, if you see what I'm getting at here. Okay. So as I mentioned before, there was no money that I had to use out of my own pocket on my first seller finance acquisition. It was literally 100% seller finance, and it was paid back entirely from the business's own profits over 24 months. And you can do the same as well. Okay. All right. So traditional buying, let's talk about that for a moment. Traditional buying, everyone thinks that you need 100,000 to 500,000 in savings or an SBA loan. You need 6 to 12 months of bank paperwork. You need a personal guarantee and collateral. And banks say no to 80% of online businesses because they want a business that has overhead, has machinery, has lots of inventory, because they want to lean against the business. They want to have some sort of, collateral, right? That's why they say no to online businesses. And online businesses are much more favorable than brick and mortar, less overhead, leaner, ready for AI, which means you can have like literally no employees in an online business, and your entire business can be run through AI agents. AI employees is what that is, if you don't know. More scalable. You can sell globally in a heartbeat. You can pay for more traffic coming to your website daily to ramp up your sales. You just have to know what you're doing and know how to manage the numbers. It's just a much more faster, scalable, profitable business with lower risk and more upside. Okay. And then creative financing. Okay. So this is actually what it takes to buy a business. And this really demystifies traditional buying. You start with little to no money out of pocket. You close in 30 to 60 days from the time that you get the letter of intent done to buy the business with seller financing or other creative financing. Business profits pay the acquisition costs. And this works. This works for any online business model. Okay. All right. Let's talk about number 3, the ownership transition. And this is secret number 3. Closing the deal is just the beginning. How to transition into ownership without disrupting the business. And this is super important. Now, most people think the work is done once you sign the papers. They celebrate closing day and then wake up the next morning wondering, what do I do now? And the first 90 days are the most dangerous days. The first 90 days after a business purchase are when most value is lost. Bad transitions can destroy good businesses. So without a transition plan, key staff can leave in confusion. Customers experience disruption. You're scrambling to figure out operations. Revenue drops as chaos increases. Now, with the ARM5 transition system, existing team stays in place with clear roles. There's no changes. You don't want to make any sudden changes after you buy the business. Keep it operating the same way that led to the success it was having. Customers notice nothing changes. SOPs, which are standard operating procedures, processes, and reporting from day one. We install a lot of our reporting and SOPs. This way we're creating a performance-driven culture in the business you buy. And then revenue continues and it grows, okay? The three pillars of a successful transition are staffing, keep the existing team, document roles, establish clear communication. Reporting, set up weekly dashboards and key performance indicators. So those are their target numbers from day one, and know your numbers as the owner. Number three, rhythm. Establish the operating rhythm of the business, weekly reviews, monthly goals, quarterly planning, okay? And this is how I transition, in summary, into a new business. So week one is team meetings. Meet every employee, understand roles, build trust, get that buy-in. Week two, SOP, documentation, standard operating procedures. Document every process. Go over the SOPs, any gaps, have team members document those SOPs. There's simple ways to do that. You can use a tool called Loom. It's a Chrome plugin. You could record your process. You could take that video. You can upload it even to AI. AI can then turn it into a documented SOP and boom, there you go. That's how you can create an SOP very, very quickly. And you want to document workflows. You want to document systems, everything, okay? Week three, reporting setup. Install dashboards, key performance indicators, and financial tracking. This way, again, you're creating a performance-driven culture and a performance-driven business, and everybody sees that after you have taken over the business. And everybody has an assigned set of KPIs that they own, that they're in charge of hitting. And if they don't hit those, they know that their job could be on the line, okay? Week four, optimization begins. Apply the 5 profit amplifiers, okay? Pull the levers. There's so many different opportunities in online businesses to grow online businesses, and the 5 profit amplifiers helps you be able to maximize that immediate growth after you buy the business. And this is how you own a portfolio, not a group of jobs. Systems over talent, reporting over guessing, rhythm over chaos. When you transition correctly, you own an asset, not another job, okay? So you end up with a business that you're the owner of, not the operator of, because you're buying a business that already has a team, already has some processes, is already a well-running machine, but could be a better running machine. And then we help you transition it into a better running machine with you being the owner. So again, not fully passive, but it isn't you working in the business. It's you being the owner and them reporting to you and them continuing to operate and grow the business with our direction, our strategies, and our help, okay? So that's 90 days from closing to fully systematized ownership. On one of my acquisitions, I retained the entire team, documented every process, and grew revenue 25% all within the first quarter. So you don't have to quit your day job, okay, to do this. You don't have to quit your day job. If you want, you can, but you don't have to. Most of my acquisitions were managed alongside other projects. The transition system is designed for busy professionals. Again, weeks 1 through 2, shadow the seller and document all systems. Weeks 3 through 4, begin managing with seller still on standby. Weeks 5 through 8, full ownership with automated reporting. And then week 9 and after, you're the owner working on the business, not in it. Okay. Are you guys tracking along? Give me a thumbs up if you're tracking along in the comments here, okay? All right. Each secret is powerful on its own, but together they create a seamless system for finding, financing, and transitioning into a cash flowing online business in 4 months or less. So let's recap. So here are the 3 secrets: evaluate, finance, transition, optimize, and scale. So secret number one that we covered was the evaluation methodology. Know which deals are worth buying. Secret number two was creative financing. Buy with little to no money down. And then secret number three was the ownership transition. Protect your investment from day one. And again, this is all from real experience, real results. 19 businesses acquired since 2022, over 30 million in sales since then. And we've made the Inc. 5000 as one of the fastest growing companies in America the last 2 years in a row. Okay. So let me know that you got value out of this. I'm going to check the comments right now and let me know what your top takeaway is in the comments. So let me know here in the comments. I'm going to get some water before we move on here. And then we'll dive into the last part today. All right. Thank you for the thumbs up, guys. And appreciate the comments, appreciate the feedback. Great. Okay, cool. All right, let's keep going, guys. All right. Okay. So do I have permission to share with you guys something that could really, literally change your life? Okay. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a hand. You give me permission to be able to share this with you guys. Okay. Because this is literally something that can literally change your life. Okay. Thank you for the thumbs up, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you for the raise the roof. Awesome. All right. Cool. All right. So you're at a crossroads right now. What if I had a proven system that walked you through every single step from finding the right deal to closing it and transitioning into ownership? What if? And you have three options at this point. You could do nothing, leave this webinar, forget everything, and keep doing what you've been doing. Keep watching YouTube, keep researching, keep telling yourself you'll buy a business someday. Okay. You could do it yourself. Take what you learn and try to figure it out alone, honorable, but expect 12 to 18 months and potentially 6 figures in mistakes. Most people who try alone never close a deal. So I would highly recommend that you mitigate against those costly mistakes that could happen, knowing that I made a lot of those mistakes in 2022 when I first started buying, learned a lot. I highly recommend that you don't do that. Okay. Or number 3, you join the ARM5 acquisition method. You follow my step-by-step system. You use my tools and frameworks, and you buy your first online business within 4 months or less with expert guidance every step of the way. We literally become partners with you in your business that you buy with our system and with our help. And this is the most popular option. Now, here's how it works. I put together a complete system that walks you through every step of finding, evaluating, financing, and closing your first online business acquisition. Let me break it down for you. Okay. So here is the ARM5 formula acquisition method. This is the complete system to take you from 0 deals to owning a cash flowing online business in 4 months or less. And we put that in every single agreement with every single client. And this isn't just another course. Okay. This isn't that. This is a high level mentorship and implementation program that covers everything from finding your first deal to closing it and scaling it with expert guidance every step of the way. And here's what's inside. So you get access to our deal analyzer and valuation models. This is a $500 value alone. Instantly evaluate businesses with proprietary templates, input metrics, and see revenue trends, profit margins, and suggested offer ranges. This way you stop overpaying for businesses. Also, you get our due diligence vault. These are pre-built 100+ point checklists, financial ratio calculators, and traffic analyzers to ensure comprehensive evaluation. This is the system that's literally protected me from bad deals for years. And this is like a $10,000 value alone. Also, you get legal contracts and deal templates. These are attorney design, attorney prep, purchase agreements, or letter of intent agreements, and negotiation scripts designed to eliminate the legal guesswork. This way you don't have to spend $5,000 on a lawyer to draft these from scratch. So this is a $5,000 value, for example. Also, you get the growth and optimization swipe files. These are ready to use marketing assets and SOPs. So those are standard operating procedures to boost performance immediately after acquisition. And these are literally the exact strategies I've used to scale businesses since 2013. I've literally helped thousands of online businesses since 2013 through online events, coaching, and client services. And all these SOPs are how I've been able to do that. So these are worth literally millions in potential revenue. So the value here is literally worth millions to you. Also, you get weekly coaching calls. As I mentioned before, doing it alongside us makes a whole lot more sense than you doing it out there on your own. And this is how we have weekly coaching calls, live question and answer sessions with seasoned acquisition experts. Myself, Jeff, our head of acquisition. This way you get real-time guidance on deals, due diligence, and scaling tactics. And this way you never make a decision alone. The value here is about $12,000 over the next 12 months alone, and you get lifetime access to this program. And you get exclusive mastermind access to the community. We've got a community of other high performers that are driven to buy businesses and build cash flow and build wealth, just like yourself. And you can use this to share deal opportunities, leverage partnerships with fellow driven, determined wealth builders just like you. You also get access to this over its lifetime. As I mentioned, you remain part of the ARM5 family even after you buy. So if you're in our program, you can keep coming back and keep leaning on our coaching, leaning on our systems, and we update them too. And this way you can just continue to buy more if you really want to. You can build a portfolio of businesses like we have. So you have access to ongoing community support, alumni events, and deal sharing opportunities. And also, you get a one-on-one strategy session to map out your specific path to your first acquisition, which is customized to your capital, experience, and goals. And the value of this is about $1,000 as well. So, and again, this is all from 19 businesses acquired since 2022, over 30 million in sales, making the Inc. 5000 as one of the fastest growing companies since over the last 2 years, is what I meant to say. And 100 plus deals evaluated. Okay. So let's talk value here. So this is what people spend trying to do this on their own, to put things in perspective. Okay. An MBA program to learn mergers and acquisitions is about $80,000 to $150,000, maybe even more depending on the school you go to. Hiring a business broker, $30,000, $50,000 in fees. Attorney deal for deal structuring, that's about $5,000 to $15,000. One bad deal too, due to poor due diligence, could cost you anywhere between $10,000 to $100,000, maybe even more. Yeah, and I highly recommend you avoid that. Total risk without a system. The risk here is at least $50,000, maybe even $300,000, maybe even more. Okay, there's considerable risk, and I just want you to know that if you do it on your own. Okay, but see, we give you everything in one place for a fraction of what you'd spend making mistakes, making costly mistakes on your own. And here's a total value breakdown. You've got the deal analyzer and valuation models, $500, due diligence vault, $10,000, legal contracts and deal templates, $5,000, growth and optimization swipe files, over $1 million in value, weekly coaching calls, $12,000 in value. And then you also get exclusive mastermind community, lifetime network access, and a personalized strategy session, which are all priceless. Okay. So there's literally over $1 million in real world value in our program here, but we would never charge you this much. Okay. So here's the thing. I'm not going to throw a price up on screen, ask you to buy right now. That's not what this is. That's not how this works. Every person on this call is in a different situation, different capital, different experience, different goals. And we want to work with you and really, get to know you and make sure you're a good fit. And then we can really help you at that point. Okay. So we take a very personalized approach. We literally only help 7 people every month. So your next step isn't a checkout page. It's a conversation. It's a free strategy session where I personally map out a plan for your situation to get you on a path towards business ownership with, if you want, with little to no money out of your own pocket. There's so many different ways to do that. We even have a financing department that can finance you getting into our program and working with us. This way you don't pay any money out of your own pocket to work with us. Or if you need financing to close a business, we have various lenders and people in our Rolodex that we can pull in to help you be able to cover a down payment without you using your own money, without you using your own personal credit or putting a personal guarantee on it like a SBA loan. We can help you do that. Okay. So here's a quote that I like to use here. I've found that the people who get the best results are the ones who start with a clear plan customized to their situation. That's why the next step isn't a checkout page, it's a conversation. Okay. So here's a recap. Again, you're getting over $1 million in value if you decide to work with us. So I highly recommend that if you're serious about building cash flow, taking advantage of this timely opportunity in the world today, buying an online business, this way you can reap the benefits of owning an online business, no overhead, work from anywhere. Maybe you leave the rat race, or you just want to build more wealth, and you can do that with an online business asset, then I recommend that you book a free online business buying strategy session, which is literally $1,000 value because we charge at least $1,000 per hour when we work with companies and people. But this is completely free. So it's a completely free opportunity. All you have to do is click the link to book your session. And you want to do that right now because there's limited spots available. Our calendars typically fill up when we do these webinars over the next few days. So if you want to take advantage of this opportunity, click on the link, get a time on our calendar right away. This way you could take one step towards your business goals and your cash flow and wealth building goals as well. Okay. And also let me just explain too that if you do move forward, your investment is protected. We have a guarantee in every single client agreement. If you join the ARM5 formula acquisition method and you follow the system and work with our mentors and you use our tools and our frameworks, and you're not in a position to buy a business within 4 months, we'll keep working with you until you are, because we want to make sure that you are successful. That's why we only take 7 clients per month in our program. So there's zero risk when you decide to work with us. You either get results or we keep working with you until you do. You literally have nothing to lose and a cash flowing business to gain. Okay. The only thing you have to lose here is the opportunity to get more cash flow and to also move your wealth faster by not taking action. But wait, there is actually more here. So there's an exclusive bonus here. As I told you from the beginning, stay until the end. This is available only when you book your session during this live training. So if you move forward and book a free session, you'll get our business acquisition readiness scorecard. This is a self-assessment tool that scores your readiness across 5 key areas: capital, credit, time, knowledge, and mindset, and gives you a clear action plan to close any gaps before you start looking at deals. So this is 100% free just for booking, okay? Also, you get this other bonus. You get a first call script pack. This is exactly what to say when contacting sellers and brokers, and most beginners blow the deal in the first 5 minutes because they sound like a tire kicker. We prevent you from sounding like a tire kicker. We help you come from a position of power when you go and you have conversations with owners, sellers, or brokers, and these scripts help you sound like a sophisticated buyer right away. Also, you get bonus number 3, which is the Tax Navigator by my friend Garrett Gunderson, who is a New York Times bestselling author and a Wall Street Journal bestselling author. And this is a complete guide to legal tax strategies for business owners, which you'll soon be in our program, covering entity structuring, deductions, and keeping more of what you earn. Because it's not just about buying cash flow, it's about keeping it. Okay, this is the 3rd bonus you get. Okay, and let me just also refresh your memory here from this presentation. There's 6 million small businesses right now changing hands as boomers retire. 48% of boomers plan to exit within 3 years, and there's over 5 trillion in private business assets entering the market. So there's plenty of opportunities out there. I know there's an opportunity out there for you with your name on it. I built this system because I was tired of watching good people lose money on bad deals. Every tool, every template, every framework in ARM5 exists because I needed it myself first. And if all these people are getting results, isn't it possible that you can too? Of course it is. And the big one, if you're one of the first people who book during this training, you'll also get a Golden Goose bonus, which is a personal deal review. For the next 5 people who book their first session after you sign up for the program, Josh will personally hop on a call with you to review your first target deal. So you'll get my personal eyes on your purchase from someone that's done over 30 million plus in sales since 2022. So I'll personally review it. And once you're in the program, I'll hop on a call with you to go through your first target purchase line by line. And I usually charge thousands of dollars for this, but you'll get it included just for being decisive, for being action oriented today. So go ahead, click the link in the chat to book now, to book your free online business buying strategy session immediately. So I'll stop here and I'll answer any questions you guys have. So don't be shy. The best students always ask questions, even if they think it's a stupid question. No question is ever stupid, and no question makes you stupid. The only question that could make you stupid is one that you keep to yourself. Okay. So ask your questions, put them in the comments. Let's go through them one by one. This we can get lots of clarity, lots of value out of today, because this could literally be life-changing for you. And I want you to get clear. I want you to take action, and I want you to be well on your way to buying a business and stepping into cash flow and having an opportunity with this asset to build more wealth for yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and address any questions you guys have. Let's see here. I'm going to get my water too as well. And there is a link to my calendar in the comments, so feel free to click on that link, book your session. Okay, so the first question is your business focused on helping you buy just one business, or can you repeat the process after that? You can, once you're in the program, you have lifetime access to it, so you can go through it, buy your first business, which it's guaranteed to happen within the first 4 months of the program, whether you're done for you or done with you. Done with you is contingent on you meeting us halfway, putting the work in, showing up to the coaching calls consistently, being coachable. But after you had success, you can stay in the program, obviously come back, lean on the coaching, and continue to buy more and more businesses if you want. So you definitely can do that, to answer your question. So thank you, Nick, for that question. I appreciate it. All right, what other questions you guys have for me? Let me know here in the comments. And Lawrence, I see your comment. Share, please. The link is in the comments. Give me like a thumbs up that link, you see it and it works for you. This way I can make sure you're taken care of. Awesome. All right. And then Elaine had a question here. I don't know if she's still here. She might have jumped off, but when is your next webinar? Or do you have a video of the same presentation I can watch? She has errands scheduled for today. So I don't know if she's still here, but there's going to be a replay that goes out. So Elaine, if you're still here, you'll be able to go through the replay over the next few days. We give 72 hours access to the replay. So you'll have a few days to be able to go through it. So Kelly, awesome. Looking forward to working with you. Thank you for booking. Looking forward to serving you. Amazing. Love that someone took action there and also, expressed excitement there. So great. Okay, here's another question from Nick. Thank you for the questions. Keep them coming. So suppose I come across a business that looks promising. How can I tell if the numbers are solid and it's not going to become a problem after I buy it? So that's question one. You've got a second question, but here, let me address question one and I'll help with question two. And actually my answer to question one is probably going to address question two. So with the numbers solid, first off, you want to make sure that profit and loss statement that you're reviewing that is given to you by the owner, seller, or broker, or on the listing for the business, you want to make sure it's a really good profit and loss statement, like detailed, professional, clean, like it's done by a professional bookkeeper. That's number one. If it looks like it's done by a, C-level bookkeeper, there's some concerns there. It's not a red flag, but it's definitely a yellow flag. So that's number one. Number two, you want to go through bank statements. You want to match bank statements and cash flow that's being reported to cash flow being received in the actual bank statements. And we help you do that, when we work with you. So you don't have to do it alone. We do it with you. Okay. So that's how you can see if the numbers are solid, at least from the financial perspective. Other numbers like marketing, for example, we help you do due diligence on that too. When you want to dive into analytics within Shopify, for example, or Amazon or whatever channel that they're using to generate sales, and check through the numbers, and we'll help tell you what numbers are performance numbers that are good and what performance numbers are not good that maybe have some concerns, and what questions to ask in your due diligence process to make sure that you're doing due diligence on the numbers you're seeing in the business. So I'm not sure if you're referring to marketing or financial numbers, but basically the bottom line is we help you, every step of the way throughout the entire process. You're not in this alone, and we don't want you to move ahead. We want you to stay with us, because moving too fast, that creates risk. So we work with you every step of the way. Okay. So thank you for the question, Nick. Appreciate it. All right. What other questions you guys have for me? Let me know in the comments, and I'll address them one by one. All right. Any other questions, guys? Oh, here's another one. Okay. Do program members work from a list of businesses your team provides, or can they buy any business that they come across as long as it meets the criteria? Yeah, no. You want to definitely spread your net. You want to throw out a wide net and look at a lot of businesses. And our system helps you kind of directs you on that and where to look, what to look for, identifying your buy box, filtering businesses. This way you're looking at the right businesses that are good businesses and also within your buy box. So we want you to definitely go out and look at various businesses because it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game to be able to find the business that you should buy and you want to buy. Okay. So it's not just our deal flow, it's the deal flow that's out there in the public, and we help you be able to cast your net, be able to keep the right fish, and then be able to go through and make sure that those fish that you catch are good fish for you to consider and for you to I got to get away from the metaphor now because there's no way I could take this further, but basically, like, you got some good businesses, we help you filter, and then we help you go through looking at each of these businesses in great detail, following our rigorous process. This way you can make sure that you make an offer on a good business that where the risk is as mitigated as possible. And then we help you close that business as well, do projections on the cash flow of the business versus the offer that you're thinking about making. This way you end up with a business that produces cash flow on day one, pays for its own bills, pays for the payments against the business, and gives you an opportunity to be able to build wealth over the next 12, 24 months. So thank you, Nick, for the question. Appreciate it. It's great. Keep them coming. All right. Any other questions, guys? All right. All right. Any other questions? Going once. Going twice. Slow down a little bit, give you an answer, give you an opportunity to. Okay, great. Thank you for booking, Nick. Appreciate it. Awesome. Looking forward to working with you. Okay, guys. Again, take massive action from this. This is a huge opportunity. Book your free online business buying strategy session. It's absolutely free, and it's at least $1,000 value. So take advantage of it while it's available. Click on the link in the comments. Thank you so much for being here today. If you're here live, if you're watching this replay, thank you so much for spending some time with me on this replay. You made a smart decision, and I look forward to serving you and helping you buy an online business. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you soon.